Hell yeah! What is going on, everybody? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is DKEN, and welcome to my incredible podcast. Now, before we commence this episode, do not forget to smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, share this with your boys and your families. Follow me on Instagram. Smash that bell notification button. And of course, as always, enjoy. Let's get started. Our top story for today shall be, I am no longer interested in dating American females anymore. Now, for this episode, I shall share with you a list of reasons as to why I had lost 100% of respect and 100% of attraction for American females. I shall share with you a specific side story where I go into detail as to how I reached my breaking point, which motivated me to take myself out of the dating market permanently. I will go into detail about many things, and to all of the strong and masculine men that are listening to this, I believe that we need to start concentrating more on self-improvement and stop wasting our precious time, money, and stamina in the dating market. We need to start stepping up our game. And this goes to y'all females as well, okay? Y'all need to step up a lot more than men in general. And I will go into concrete detail about that, okay? For starters, y'all better take out your notebooks, and y'all better get ready to start jotting down all sorts of notes, because this is where it begins, okay? Here we go. Number one. Most of y'all American females, especially y'all Gen Z females, are straight up self-entitled and narcissistic gold diggers, okay? Y'all females expect us to pay for everything, i.e. dinner, breakfast, lunch, fixing your toilet, fixing your sink. You end up having a flat tire and you need to replace that tire, free rides, and so forth. You expect us to pay for all of this shit, and we do not get anything in return, not even a hand job, like nothing. And you still want to come over to our home and sleep in the same bed as me. Absolutely not. You are dismissed. You are hereby discharged. Have a nice life. Number two, y'all females need to learn how to cook and clean, okay? Very simple. Personally, I have a very wide open palate, so I don't care what you cook. As long as you cook something decent, then you get a pass for that. And as long as you can clean, that's wonderful. Now, here's where you can get an A+, okay? Now, this is optional. This is not required. If you can cook something that reminds me of a spectacular entree that my grandmother cooked for me when I was a small kid growing up, like a seafood stew, I will go out of my way and buy you something special. This leads to my third point. Number three, a relationship is supposed to be a place where you go to give something to the other person, not to take and give nothing in return. When a guy and a gal are in a relationship, they're supposed to be supporting each other. They're supposed to love each other unconditionally. That means that it doesn't matter if you buy the other person a coffee cup with decorations on it. They will still be grateful that you put something to the table. Now, in a hypothetical situation, I personally have no problem whatsoever in supporting the other person and loving my significant other unconditionally. This leads to my fourth point. Number four, to all of y'all females that have been brainwashed by modern feminism and or had no daddy figure when you were little, listen to this. Learn how to love a man unconditionally. Now, this only applies to the men that are taking the time to approach you and talk to you. And I understand that y'all females are not attracted to guys that are too nice, okay? Boys that are pushovers can turn y'all females off. Like, we all get that. However, as a female, when you get approached by a guy that is not a pushover, but also is not too much of a bad guy, y'all females need to learn how to give those guys a chance. Like, I am stressing this out to you right now, because as soon as you reject those kinds of guys, you are not going to get a second chance with those guys. As soon as you reject them, what happens afterwards? You're left with the following options. One, you have the bad boys that you constantly chase that treat you lower than dirt stuck on the bottom of my boots, but you keep pursuing them because the sex is good. And option number two, you have the nice guys that you don't want. Deep down, you don't want the nice guys because you know that you can push them around all you want and treat them like shit, and they will continue to stick around hoping that they will get inside of you someday, but not right now, of course. As soon as you reject the guys that are not too nice but not too bad, you will not get a second chance with those guys because they realized that it's not worth pursuing you anymore. They realized that it's a dead end with you. So that's it. Number 5, for those of y'all females that intend to become better people and you want to treat men right, whatever you do, please do not try to live the 304 lifestyle. As soon as you make the decision of living the whole lifestyle, that is when you have sealed your fate. Like straight to the point, there are very harsh consequences when you live the 304 lifestyle, okay? Let's create a hypothetical situation. Let's say you are a female that's going to college. You just turned 21. You're studying to get your bachelor's degree. Now let's say you meet this guy on campus. You find out that he's in his 30s. He's studying to get his own degree. You find out that he lives in a very luxurious apartment. He lives all by himself, which means that he is paying the rent for that place, okay? Not his mommy, not his daddy. He's paying his own bills and everything else. You find out that he's basically one of the elite students of the whole school. One of those alpha males in the entire school. Then you choose to chase him down. You two start dating, and then months later, you convince him to marry you, the 304, so that you can move into his apartment, put your own damn name under his health insurance policy and under his apartment lease, have a baby with him, then divorce his ass right after you have a baby with him. And what happens at that point? He ends up paying child support and vagina money. Like I said, this is a hypothetical situation. However, we have seen Brittany Renner perform the bait and switch, okay? We have most certainly seen Jada Pinkett destroy and emasculate Will Smith on social media and in public. And the reason that Jada is doing that is because she's trying to pump herself up to make herself look good. She's trying to keep her bullshit name relevant. Will Smith, just stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. Get some help.
Anyways, getting back to the situation I created, to y'all females that have intent to become better people, to all of you women out there that have no intent to become narcissistic and toxic females, do not pursue the whole lifestyle. Do not become that single mother that is looking for another man to raise her child after Chad, Brad, or Tyrone left her as soon as he got her pregnant, okay? I mean, Chad, Brad, or Tyrone doesn't even have any money in his bank account, but the female chose to open her legs for him just because the sex was good. That's her fault. She's got to deal with it, okay? You have to understand that. Moving on to the next point. Number 6. Stop treating men as ATMs. Stop treating them as if they are your personal bank accounts. Plain and simple. Men should not have to pay for everything. They shouldn't have to pay for your bullshit when you have the money to pay for your own shit. This leads to my next point. Number 7. Stop acting as if y'all females are strong and independent, because you're not. If you were really strong and independent, you would go out there and get your own job and get your own money. You wouldn't need a guy to pay for your own shit. But nope, because you have been brainwashed by modern feminism, you feel as if you deserve everything. Like, matter of fact, this should have been one of my first points that I should have made at the beginning of this episode. Number 8. Most of American females have been manipulated and brainwashed by modern feminism. Because of this, most of you females feel as if you deserve everything. You feel as if you deserve the perfect man who's 6 feet tall, he's six-packing, he makes 6 figures minimum, he has a 6-inch schlong minimum, and so forth. You feel as if you deserve the majority of the power when you are in a relationship or in a marriage, or when you're in the workplace, obviously. Listen, a female CEO does not turn me on whatsoever. Like, I could literally walk past her 6-figure making ass self without even acknowledging her, okay? To the females that are listening to this, understand this. You do not deserve shit. This concept applies to every human being in the fucking planet Earth. You want something, you gotta earn it. Number 9. For those of y'all females that are self-proclaimed strong and independent females, I got 2 words for you. Good luck. I am saying this because y'all are the type of creatures that I avoid like the fucking bubonic plague. You claim that you do everything that a man could do just because you feel that way. After all, females are all about emotions. However, as men, we're all about logic and reason. Y'all females that exude this kind of attitude feel as if you could do everything a man could do while you sit in your fancy corporate office that is equipped with the top of the line heaters and air conditioners and so forth. I can assure you, you will never be as tough as us. I promise you that. This leads to my next point. Number 10. No self-respecting man with a high level of self-worth cares about a strong and independent female's corporate job. No alpha male cares about a female making six figures. Like, we don't care about how many cars she owns, okay? How many homes she owns, what her job is about. Like, allow me to create another hypothetical situation. And I know I used this specific example before, but I'm going to use it again. Let's say that I'm on a date with one of these strong, independent females. You know, we're inside of a wine bar. We're sitting down together. And then she says something along the lines of this bullshit.
So many black men in the comment section saying, oh, you have all these high demands, but what do you bring to the table? Good question. Studies have shown that black women are the highest paid and the most educated. I myself graduated with my associate's degree at 18 and graduated from college with my bachelor's at 20 with a degree in communication sciences with an emphasis in speech and language pathology. I live on my own, have my own car, make about $70,000 a year, and don't have any kids. So I'll never ask for what I can't offer. And as far as what I'm bringing to the table, I bring me, and you can't sit with us.
Yeah. What were you talking about again? Who cares what the hell your fancy corporate job is about? Who cares if you make six figures or not? Who cares about your degree? Like, who cares if you're strong and independent? Like, and that leads to my next point. Number 11. No real self-respecting man with a lot of self-worth will give a damn about how many degrees a strong and independent female has, okay? As a strong, independent female, you may feel independent just because you have more degrees than a deep fryer thermometer, okay? But to the alpha males, we don't care about that. Like, as soon as you start talking about that, you'll put us straight to sleep on the date, okay? Matter of fact, in that situation, I would have asked the bartender for a bigger bottle of wine rather than a small glass of wine. Like, I don't care if she ends up leaving me there or if I get up and leave her there. I don't care. Number 12, to all of y'all females that exude not just a masculine personality, but let's add on to that. If you exude even the slightest hint of narcissistic traits in your personality, I do not want anything to do with you. This is what I mean. This is where you start making everything about you. Now, what I am describing is very similar to entitlement. However, if you start making things revolve around you, this can include you and I interacting with each other, and while we're talking, you seize every opportunity to make the conversation revolve around you. You do not take the time to ask questions about me. Or how about this? Anytime I get you a present for your birthday, it should mean something. It would mean a lot for you to acknowledge the fact that I got something for you, like during your birthday. But when my birthday comes around and you choose to not get anything for me in return, that's even worse than a kick to the curb. Like, metaphorically speaking, you kicked me off of a cliff and I never meant anything to you. Now, this specific concept applies if she and I were in a relationship or in a marriage or just friends in general. But I know that almost all of you understand where I'm coming from when I speak about this, okay? Number 13, stop blaming men for everything. That means stop relying on men to do everything for you. Instead of bitching, yapping, and complaining about a situation, how about you help us in a situation that we're trying to solve? How about you contribute and help instead of bashing men about something that you think they're doing wrong? Like, let me give you some examples. If the dishes need to be cleaned and if the bathroom is a mess, then let's split the situation. The guy can clean the bathroom while she cleans the dishes, okay? Very simple. My point being is that they need to work together like teammates. She also needs to contribute, not bash men for everything they're doing and saying. When females bash men for everything, this causes men to give up permanently. Like, they take themselves out of the dating market and they don't want to go back anymore. Just like Coach Greg Adams would say, do not go back to the plantation, because you know what's going to happen to you when you do that. You know how that will end, okay? So do not do that. So, number 14, stop accusing all men of being creepy, stalkers, weirdos, and so forth. That is just unreasonable for you to do that. This is a very simple concept to tackle. Some of these guys are actually decent guys, and they're trying to muster up the courage to approach you and ask you out. Perhaps they're nervous or shy, and they're trying to break the ice, if you will. Every man went through that, okay? I also went through that many times. We all have, and we get nervous, okay? Very simple. Because our number one fear that we experience is the fear of being rejected. We're scared of being rejected, okay? Needless to say, men get rejected far more often than females. Make no mistake on that. This will be my next point, by the way. Getting back to the 14th point, to all of y'all females that are listening to this, stop assuming that all men are creeps, stalkers, they're trash, which is one of your assumptions that boils my veins a lot, like they're weird and so forth. Some of these guys are just learning how to approach a gal and learn how to ask her out the right way. But nope. Most of y'all American bitches have the audacity to reject these guys because you think they creep you out. No, they don't. And check this out. Some of those guys are actually decent guys who are not too much of a pushover, but you still choose to reject those guys because y'all bitches think that they're weird. Number 15. I will say this out loud. Stop rejecting men that are not too much of a pushover. I don't care how many times I have to repeat it, okay? Stop rejecting guys that literally have their shit together. Perhaps these guys are still working to earn six figures. Perhaps they're still working to get their own apartments, their own car, and so forth. Learn how to give those guys a fucking chance. This leads to my next point. Number 16. For those of y'all females that want to chase the bad boys, aka the Chads and the Brads and the Tyrones, and kick the good guys to the curb, I've got two words for you. Good luck. This applies to all of y'all American females that have tons of daddy issues, you've never had a decent father figure in your lives, and therefore you have nobody to raise you properly. And here's the sad news. This cycle will continue. Anyways, for those of you that have a cement truck full of daddy issues, and you know who you are, you love chasing the bad boys that give you no attention and no validation. You love being treated like absolute dog shit. You don't like being treated kindly. You spread your 304 legs for these bad boys just because the sex is good. That's the only reason why you chase them. Therefore, go ahead. Have fun with that fuck boy. While you're spreading your legs for him, these good guys will forget about you and spend their precious time working damn tirelessly to build their own value, start making more money gradually, and the time will come when these guys will establish their own businesses. They will earn their own money. They won't need a boss to rely on. And by the time that you, the 304, reaches out to the good guys, they will want nothing to do with you, okay? Whatever you do, do not. I repeat, I'm going to say it one more time. Do not come back to us. Go back to that fuckboy you spread your legs for. Like, go back to him and forget that you met us in the first place. You are dismissed. Sayonara. Have a nice life. Delete my number. Delete my messages. I want you to delete every memory of me, and I'll do the same to you. Goodbye. Now, folks, I think this calls for a wrap. So, all of these points that I just shared with you are gold star lessons that you can learn from me, okay? I had to learn this the hard way. I didn't have enough sit-downs with my dad to learn and master these lessons, like, let alone my mom. Like, my mother is a complete, and I mean a straight-up introvert. Like, she has the heaviest stage of social anxiety. She's not used to meeting new people outside of her circle. She doesn't even like to go out to a public event alone. She prefers to go out only with people that she's comfortable with, and that's her problem. She doesn't know how to expand outside of her comfort zone. This is something that I learned when I first enlisted in the service. You want to succeed? And I recall that Steve Harvey said this: you have to learn how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Getting back to the main point that I've made, I did not have any sit downs with my mom, and I didn't have enough sit downs with my dad when I was learning these things for the first time. I had to master these lessons the hard way. However, I did take the time to go on YouTube and meet all sorts of mentors like Tom Likas, Coach Corey Wayne, who is the author of Mastering Yourself and How to Be a 3% Man, and of course, Coach Greg Adams, who is the author of De-Evolution and Free Agent Lifestyle, Strong Successful Male, Lonnie Spence Show, Mark Rudolph, like all sorts of these guys who specialize in MGTOW and the Red Pill. Like even up to this day, I still watch these guys because I have the strongest desire to build myself up. I'm still growing and building my YouTube channel. I'm still working out on an occasional basis. I've started my NoFap several months ago. I do not want to go back to being that societal beta male who's constantly trying to impress others while throwing my mental health down the drain. I refuse to go back to being that person, okay? I will not fucking take orders from anyone anymore, especially from American females who act like bitches, not women. So, with all of that said, this concludes this episode of my incredible podcast. So thank you very much for watching. Do not forget to Hulk smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, share this with your boys and your families, follow me on Instagram, smash that bell notification button, and every single one of you have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace out.